Good morning, my dreamers, my goal setters, and my achievers. And yes, you are all three, because if you have a dream, you can definitely set some goals and you have that ability to achieve it. So today I wanted to start off by sharing a quote that I found that I really feel like resonates with my intro. And yeah, give me your thoughts on this quote. I definitely think that it's a great one because it helps to put a dream into reality of how to go about getting to that point. So it is: a dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action makes your dreams a reality. So I think that's huge. I think that's basically what I try to say in the beginning of all my videos of, you are definitely a dreamer, a goal setter, and an achiever. You can do all these things. You just have to make sure that you are following through and that you are able to set these goals in order to make that dream come true and create a plan and things like that. So today's video is actually going to be geared towards my military spouses. If you guys have not seen any of my videos in the past or have not gotten a little information about me, I am a military spouse myself. My significant other went into the military, oh goodness gracious, about over 10 years ago now. And yeah, it's definitely been a transition. He's gone from active duty to being in the reserves, and just that progression, how that looks. It can be very challenging as a military spouse because you do move around a lot. You do have certain barriers that come into place. So I just wanted to give some tips and strategies in order to overcome some of these challenges and barriers that are associated with being a military spouse. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the topic for today. I wanted to share some statistics that I found that were quite alarming. So according to the National Conference of State Legislators, 84% of military spouses are college educated. That's actually higher than the general public. So when you think about that, that's huge, right? Like, military spouses are getting educated, they're going to school, they're getting training, they're getting these skills that they can put into effect and be able to be a part of the workforce. However, 33% of military spouses are unemployed. And of those that are employed, so that's 66%, a third of those employed are actually underemployed. So they're not being able to be in a role that really suits what their experience is, what their education is, and things like that. And then on top of that, 38% of military spouses actually earn less than their civilian counterparts. So I just thought that this was very alarming, and definitely there is a lot to say about that, right? So I just wanted to provide some information and strategies on how to really be able to market yourself in a beneficial way and how to really go about being in that workforce if that's something that you choose to do and you want to do. So the first thing that I recommend is definitely making sure that you keep your resume updated and you have it always accessible, that you're working on it and that you're doing things to it, because it is huge to have something that is a living document. A resume, that's what it should be. It should be a living document that you're constantly editing, changing, putting things to it, and things like that. And yes, I know that sometimes oh goodness gracious, sorry. My kiddo is sick right now, so yarning. Sorry, I apologize for that. It is honestly huge that we keep that updated and that we keep being mindful of that. And I know that one of the challenges that I've experienced as a military spouse is that sometimes your resume might have some gaps in it. When you think about that, it can take at least 6 months to find employment just in general, and that's not counting having to deal with employment when you PCS, or also when you're trying to, get your kiddo situated, make sure that your household is together. I know when we first moved to Hawaii, when we PCS to Hawaii, that was a long process of us actually living in a hotel before we got into our home and our location that we're going to be in. Like, we were in a hotel for at least a month, if not longer. And so that's a part of that process, right? Like, it's kind of hard to find a place to work and you're not even situated living wise, or you're having to worry about getting your kids enrolled in school. You're having to get all these things figured out. So definitely it's understandable that it's 6 months for the general population, but it can be a lot longer for a military spouse. And then another thing too is, if you are moving to a completely new location, that's going to take longer as well, right? Because at least if you are familiar with the job market in your area, 6 months is still considered a decent amount of time to be doing a job search, but you know who to apply to. You know who's hiring. You know you've made connections, you've networked, and you know who's available. So that's a huge thing, especially when you think about your resume having some gaps on it. So I would recommend, thinking about updating your resume to maybe a functional resume, which I do. I will be doing a video just kind of talking about what a functional resume is and like what it looks like, and giving some examples and giving some insights on to what that looks like. But the main thing is just to make sure that, you have that resume that is updated, that you are tailoring that resume to the jobs that you're applying to, and that you're doing your due diligence and researching the companies that you are applying to. Next step, which is tip number 2, is be open to different opportunities. You have to be open to things that might not necessarily look exactly like what you want, because depending on the area, things might be a little bit different. With that being said, I do not want you to undermarket yourself in the sense of like, oh, I just take whatever comes my way. You still want to make sure that you're trying to find things that are going to be a good fit for you, but the surprising thing is that it's easier to get a job if you have a job. So just being open to some opportunities that might not necessarily look exactly like what you want it to, but being flexible. For example, if there are temporary positions out there that are available, take those. If you find a company that is in several places that you guys are thinking about potentially going to and being stationed at, why not go ahead and start trying to get your foot in the door with that company, because then that way you can move with that job, if that makes sense. So, if you have like a big company, I'm going to just toss one out there, Goodwill. Goodwill is pretty much everywhere that you can think of in the U.S., right? So if you are working for Goodwill, like whether it's like the career services department, whatever it might be, you can transition that to different places and not have to feel like you are stuck. And oh my gosh, you guys, like I said, my kiddo is not feeling well, so that equals me being tired the next day. So yes, making sure that you are open to that, which brings me to the next point, which is do your research. You want to do your research. You want to make sure that you're finding opportunities that are flexible and that offer that ability for you to move to different places. Looking for companies that are military spouse friendly. Looking for different opportunities in that sense will definitely help you to locate your next big job. And then, of course, networking. You want to network as much as you can. For example, I know for myself, the mental health field is fairly small in a sense. Like if you know a couple of people, you're able to branch out in that way. So making sure that you're networking and you're looking for opportunities before you even get there. I know even just being a part of like Facebook groups that I constantly am trying to check on and find out more information. And one thing that I see all the time in those groups, especially when it comes to like the professional groups that I'm a part of, is that they will network with each other in those groups, and of course I do as well. But it's just like, oh, I'm moving to this area, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, we're looking for a counselor that sees clients in this particular space. I'll send people your way. Like they will start to refer people out. You'll be surprised where people are. So if it's a big group like that and they have people all over, that can be an opportunity for you to network with people in your next potential duty station. And just really thinking in that way, right? How can you better market yourself as a professional and to really branch out? LinkedIn is also a good resource for that too. It's just like with Facebook, they do have opportunities for you to be a part of certain groups that allow you to network within that group with other professionals within your field. And then also you can just start to add them as your contacts, and that'll build your network system. Lastly, the last advice that I really think is very important is being able to financially prepare yourself for there being gaps in employment, right? You want to make sure that while you're working, that you are putting aside money, that you're saving, and that you're preparing for that chance that you might not be working for a while, right? And that you give yourself that freedom to be able to know that, okay, I know that I don't have to worry about these bills when I get to my next duty station because I prepared for this, and you don't feel like you're just scrambling and you're coming from a place of desperation when it comes time for you to apply for that next job, right? Because you know, okay, my bills are paid. I can take some time and really explore and find what I'm looking for. So those are the top five strategies that I recommend for military spouses that are really trying to move forward in their careers and just finding a way to really market themselves and be able to find that next job, even when it comes to there being a lot of transitioning and moving and things like that that might interfere with your ability to find employment. Please go ahead and comment below if you have any questions or any insights that you want to share, anything that I missed that you want to share with others. Please put that in the comment section down below. I definitely appreciate that. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and then also if you are not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Definitely am enjoying doing these videos, but I really want to make sure that I understand what you guys need. So let me know if there's any topics that you guys want me to talk about that I haven't talked about. I will be creating a whole channel, not a whole channel. I'll be creating a whole playlist that's specifically for military spouses. Like I said, I'm a military spouse myself, and I definitely feel like there's a great need to help us to really find what we want to do when we grow up and really promote us to have a career that we are happy about and successful in. So, until next time, I will see you later.